Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. My name is Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
Hello.
Today we are going to go back into the fray, Betsy, yet another movie that neither of us have seen.
We're on a roll.
Yeah, and this is one of these movies that has been around for a long time and has a reputation about it. Betsy, today we're watching Speed Racer.
We are.
Yeah, so this is a movie made by the Wachowskis, and it is the first movie that they made after the Matrix trilogy.
This is a post-Matrix world they were living in.
Yeah, and Speed Racer was received in a lot of different ways, and by most accounts, it is one of their most underrated movies.
That is my understanding, that people were so hung up on, oh my god, the Matrix,
Yeah.
that anything after it was going to be underwhelming.
Sure.
And so you're like, okay, what's your next project? Well, it's an adaptation of a cartoon that we really like.
Well, it's an anime.
Yeah, so it's something that's a little bit more niche for the topic, and it's a lot of computer graphics, and it's people who are not necessarily household names starring in it.
Yes.
And so people were like, well, I don't know how I feel about that. And so I don't think it
Like,
performed that well at the box office.
Yeah, why don't you make another sci-fi thing? Well, that's not what they're really into.
No.
The Wachowskis are fucking nerds.
Oh, yes. They love video games and anime
Yeah.
and crap like this.
Exactly. So
Not to say it's crap. I've never seen Speed Racer.
to go into this project not knowing what they're kind of about, and you going to see this movie, you might be a little bit surprised and disappointed, but Betsy, I did watch the original Speed Racer cartoon when I was a kid.
When did this air? Like the 70s, the
60s.
80s?
Yeah.
Okay, the 60s.
Yeah, and it was adapted for US audiences. It was dubbed over in English and everything else, and I enjoyed it to a point. Now, I was pretty young at the time. I didn't know really what I was watching, because at the time we were also getting things like other things from like the 50s and 60s, like Johnny Quest, and they were still airing the Scooby-Doo cartoons. So I am aware of this cartoon, I'm aware of this property, but the movie itself, I only know a few things. I know it is very colorful. Obviously it's about racing.
It's primarily on like blue screen, green screen.
Yes.
There's very little real stuff in this movie.
And like the star of the movie is Emile Hirsch, which is not a name that is very well known. I think the biggest thing that he was involved in was Into the Wild.
And this came out, I think, right before that did, or
Yeah.
right after. There was kind of a
was pretty
period
close.
there for about 5 years where we were trying to make Emile Hirsch a household name.
I guess.
And it didn't really happen. He's a really good actor, and I think he's probably one of the more underrated actors, but I don't think people knew quite what to do with him.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten a lot of work, and I was just reading that he also got into some trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've also got Christina Ricci, who
Mm-hmm.
at this point, she's grown up but hadn't really transitioned out of I make kid movies because I'm
Sure.
a kid to I make adult movies. Not
Well.
adult movies, but you get the idea.
I've heard that Christina Ricci went down some holes, and again, not adult movies, went down a path, let's say, and did the thing that a lot of child actors did and went way hard into the adult stuff.
She went so far to the left.
Yeah, like doing, hey, I'm going to be naked on screen for half the movie and
Black
whatever
Snake
else.
Moan.
Black Snake Moan. I have seen that movie. It is fucking weird. But yeah, she's like halfway naked that entire movie. But also John Goodman is in it. If you listen to this podcast a lot, we have a lot of love for John Goodman.
We're fans.
And we are big fans of John Goodman and everything that he does. So I'm looking forward to how he is portraying the dad. I think he's the dad. I can't remember any names.
See, and I don't know anything about Speed Racer.
Yeah,
I've
you don't.
never seen this show.
And I know it's Speed Racer. I know there's a dad. There's the friend/sister, which is I think the Christina Ricci character. There's a monkey in here somewhere. And there's also Racer X, which is a mysterious figure who is like Speed Racer's rival / mentor, and yeah,
I don't know
it's a weird thing.
I don't know who it is, so I'm voting for Hugo Weaving.
Yes, so anyway, Betsy, I don't know anything else. You probably don't know anything else.
Nope.
So let's go into it. We're going to hop in the car and watch Speed Racer. We'll be right back. That's it. We reached the finish line. What did you think of that movie?
Having no point of reference to the TV show, it still feels like this was done with a lot of love. I feel like with the music cues, the way it is acted, the way it is styled, it feels like everyone involved was fully committed to, we are making this live action cartoon movie. And it is ridiculous. It is very, very silly and cartoonish, but it's supposed to be. Like, you can tell. Sometimes when people adapt a cartoon, it just feels dumb. But this doesn't feel dumb. Like, it's silly, but not bad silly.
No, and I'm going to say this. I am a little disappointed by this movie.
Okay.
I didn't hate it. I think it was pretty fun. They, like you said, they didn't take themselves too seriously when it comes to like the acting and the story and everything else. But knowing what I know about the show and knowing what I know about the Wachowskis, this was a labor of love. Like, they must have just adored Speed Racer growing up. And when they had the opportunity to do it, like, we were kind of reading some history here. Apparently, they've been trying to make this, or they had been trying to make this movie for over a decade by the time it actually got made.
There's a lot of iterations that went through here. Like, in the 90s.
Yeah, the studios, whoever had the rights to it, they were trying to make it, not the Wachowskis.
They were trying to do it in the 90s. They were trying to do it in the late 90s. They were trying to do it in the early 2000s. Right. Keanu was attached. J.J. Abrams was attached. Nicolas Cage was offered a role. Yeah. It's just like every name you could think of, because it was in development for so long.
Right. And I'm sure in like the 90s when you thought, oh, we got all this digital technology now, we can make Speed Racer and we can make it great. Well, it took until this movie came out in 2008. And even then in 2008, it still is pretty damn dated.
Well, I also think it's okay. Like, in the context of this movie, where it's supposed to be this big fake cartoon world, this big fake animated world.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't bother me so much. They weren't going for top of the line, believable, like everything here is completely photorealistic. It's supposed to be shiny and wild and defy the laws of physics.
Yeah.
So it didn't bother me in that sense. Like, this is a kid's movie, Trent. This movie is for children.
I realize that. And I'm only talking about the quality of the CG. I'm not talking about like the art style. The art style is fantastic. It is colorful. It just pops everywhere. And I really like to look at it. All I'm saying is that the technology and the fidelity isn't up to snuff of today's standards. And it shouldn't be. This movie is 15 years old.
Right. But it didn't bother me, I think, as much as maybe it bothered you because of the context. Like, there are movies, and we've talked about this many times, that came out before this and since this, where the technology that they were utilizing for the effects is terrible.
Sure, and I try not to let that influence my opinion on it, and I'm trying not to. But while I was watching it, I could definitely tell.
Fair enough.
But again, I'm putting it in context here. I do not fault it for that. All I'm saying here is that overall, the movie disappointed me because of the expectations going in. Because all I've been hearing since 2008 is that, oh God, this movie is actually really fantastic. But I was not overwhelmed. I laughed a good amount, but for what it is, it was fine.
I think that if you showed this to kids, they would love it. However,
I agree.
This is where maybe it goes a little bit awry and why so many people are kind of on the fence, and maybe even you are. This movie is over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
That's really long for a kid's movie.
It drags too.
And so, okay, is it not supposed to be a kid's movie? Because then it's ridiculous and stupid. If this target demographic is not, we watch this as kids and we want kids to watch it.
Right.
Then this movie is way too long and it's underwhelming, like you said. I enjoyed the beginning. There's kind of a drag in the middle where I was kind of getting confused about exactly what the plot was supposed to be and what the point was.
The plot here is really kind of convoluted because they don't take the time to introduce all of these different factions, all these different companies who are involved. I get the overall. I get why the bad guy is the bad guy and what he's trying to do. I get that, but I'm a 38-year-old man.
Right.
If you look at a kid watching this movie, they're not going to give a fuck.
They're like corporations. What are you talking? Billionaires? Races are fixed?
Manipulating stock prices? What? Yeah, that's kind of the crux of this entire thing. The companies who are tied to these racing companies,
The sponsor companies.
right, they all, like, their stock goes up and down based on the results of the race, which is stupid on
Shut
its
up,
face.
Trent. It's brilliant.
Stupid on his face, but still. It's like fucking another dated reference. Jeff Gordon out there racing with his Tide car, and the stock of Tide goes down if he loses a race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He sunk that company.
I'm not going to even buy Tide anymore. I'm going to switch because Jeff Gordon lost.
And corporations. And Tide is evil.
Anyway, but the point of that is, yes, these companies are trying to manipulate things and manipulate their stock prices so that they can basically create a monopoly. This is a movie about monopolization.
Behind the scenes using racing.
Yeah.
Which is a lot to compute.
Yes.
And the way they explain it is in like one particular scene where the villain spills his whole evil plan
Right.
and says, go along with it or we'll kill you, basically.
Essentially. Or will ruin you so that you never even
Yeah.
finish a race ever again.
Yeah. So that's what he is dealing with. And of course, Speed Racer is the upright citizen.
Yeah.
He is the symbol of right and what is good. And he's the hero. And he's overcome obstacles because his older brother was a villain who died. Except
Right.
he's not a villain. I never believed he was a villain.
And really, if you really want to break this down, I don't think the character of Speed Racer even deserves or earns the moniker of, hey, he's the good guy or he's the moral one. No, he's just another racer who his brother died and he just happens to be talented at racing. Come on.
There's not a whole lot of character there. I don't
No.
think Emile Hirsch is bad in this.
No.
I think if you would say anything, it's that the characters may be underwritten, but because,
Yeah.
again, it's not that kind of a movie.
Right.
None of these characters are really thoroughly written.
You are not going to get a deep dive into the character of Speed Racer here. The kid is like 19, 20 years old, if that.
All right, since we're here, I want to talk about this. So
Oh, yeah,
he's
yes.
like 19
I
years old.
know where you're going
All
with
right,
this.
so the beginning of the movie, he has a brother who is roughly 19 years old, and he is like
I would
a
say
kid.
even older than that.
Okay.
He's like 25, 30.
We'll be generous and we'll say he's 20. Let's
Fine,
be really
fine,
generous,
fine.
okay? And then here's Speed. First of all, his literal name is Speed Racer.
His biblical name is Speed.
And he's what? 10 maybe.
Not even.
Not even 10.
8.
And then his brother dies. Then we cut to present day where Speed is now out of high school, so he
Yep.
has to be 19 or 20, and he also has a little brother who is roughly 10 years old. What the hell kind of virility is happening in this family that every 10 to 15 years we birth a son?
How old is Pops and how old is Mom?
I need to math this and I don't want to. Because by the end, of course, we find out Racer X, his brother in disguise, who's had
What?
plastic surgery.
Right.
He's like in his 40s. I'm so confused about this entire family
And
structure.
they do an actor change. It's really the same dude, but it's a different actor. And
You know what?
yeah.
I will say at the beginning of the movie, they introduce Rex, and then later they introduce Matthew Fox. Okay, so you said, is that Matthew Fox? No, that's not Matthew Fox. But I can see it's not that far a leap with their face structure.
Uh-huh.
That if he had plastic surgery and he grew up and got like skinnier and more fit, that you could make the leap to now he looks like Matthew Fox.
Also, his name is Rex and Racer X.
Racer Rex. Racer
Yeah.
Rex.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the nose.
Rex, comma, Racer. Yeah, that was kind of one of those things where I felt like, is that where this is going? And then they just call it out.
Right. And even after the big long race and they find out, or a Speed Racer finds out that race was done for nothing, and he's upset. And
he was used.
And he's in his street clothes on the racetrack by himself, but Racer X is following him.
Well, right, when he's angry, he doesn't dance, he races.
That's right. And Racer X, follows him and says, hey, I haven't been spun like that forever, which is a weird thing to say. He takes the mask off and says, no, I'm not your brother, I'm Racer X. And I'm kind of surprised because I don't think in the show or the comics or anything that Racer X ever reveals himself to Speed.
Well, I'm sure they do it for the sake of this movie. I feel like that isn't canon, that his brother died and comes back as Racer X.
I have no idea. But I do believe that in the show, if I remember right, that yes, Racer X is his brother, but Speed doesn't know it.
Okay, so it is canon.
I think so.
You think so?
All
right.
I have no idea.
I feel like they would have to if that's the case. If it is in the show, people who watched this would be really upset if that wasn't how it played out.
But my point here is Racer X never reveals himself to Speed.
No. He just kind of does it to get him off his case.
And I will say, the actor who played Racer X did a really good job at getting the voice of Racer X and his just kind of muted responses to everything. He's very monotone.
You mean to say there's nothing going on there so you could just read the lines?
Yeah,
you don't
kinda.
have to emote.
Yeah, kind of, because that's exactly how the actor is portraying it in the cartoon.
Listen, this is again one of those, it's 2008, Lost is a big hit, we're trying to make Matthew Fox leap from television to the big screen.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad actor. He's not. He just didn't have the success in films that they were maybe trying to force on him at this time. And this role, he doesn't, like anybody else, have that much to do.
But that's the thing, though. The character that he's playing it exactly how he's being directed to do it. He didn't do anything wrong here. It's just there's not a lot for him to do.
He gets to have just a couple moments where his natural charm shines through.
Right, and at the final race, he's just in his regular clothes.
And he's
not in mask.
And the big reveal of, it really is his brother.
Right.
Yeah, it's the double fake out where Speed suspects it's him. He says, oh, well, no, you're not my brother. Sure. And then at the end, the guy says, Are you upset you didn't tell them the truth?
Right.
And we get this montage of how he's really alive and had plastic surgery.
Weird soap opera thing. But here's the question, as long as we're talking about that.
Do it.
Where did the body come from? Whose body is that? What the fuck?
I mean, he's working with a clandestine agency. You think they can't get a body?
We can get a body for you.
We can do that.
How many you need?
You want to bury 2 bodies?
We can do that.
We can do that.
We're the CIB.
The what now?
Yeah, it's the CIB.
What does the CIB stand for?
Cartoon Investigative
Bureau.
That's my
Nailed it.
That's my definition.
Perfect. But yeah, the whole thing with Racer X, his brother leaves, and then I didn't quite follow this. So originally he's racing as part of the family race team.
For his dad, yeah.
And then he goes off and Is he like a double agent? Is that what's happening where he's racing for bad guys because he's trying to bust open this whole
My understanding
fix?
Here is that initially, no, he is not trying to do that. He signs on with a racing company and he is basically employed to try to take out the competition while
he goes corporate.
He turns into a bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's doing everything that he is ordered to do. He doesn't like to do it, but he does it because he can make money and bring it back to the home. Is my understanding anyway.
Okay, but then once he's in there, he figures out what really is going on.
Exactly. So at that point, he fakes his own death. He changes his face and he teams up with the CIB to try to infiltrate them later on and take them down.
Got it. Okay.
But he's playing the long game here because it's been 10 years that he's been dead.
Right. And Racer X just showed up on the scene 2 years after Rex died.
Right. And the introduction of Racer X is just kind of jarring here because we cut to this scene after whatever the hell happened. And it's this weird mob intimidation thing with a racer from another company inside of a trailer, but it doesn't look like a trailer. It looks like a room.
and it's full of piranhas, and there's
Right.
old-timey gangsters.
Right? And it's just kind of a weird thing. But yeah, Racer X shows up with his fancy car and he's just driving.
Literally, from the moment he showed up, I was like, so that's his brother, right?
Of course. Of
And
course.
then when they double fake you out, I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's not. No, I was right the first time.
Plastic surgery. It's like a soap opera.
Well, when they only show him from, the nose down,
Right.
you only see the bottom of his face, you could play it off that maybe it's him, maybe it isn't. And I kind of wish they had just left out the whole, we suspect that that's his brother
Right.
subplot.
Save it for the sequel.
Or just save it till the end of the movie. Like, he doesn't suspect it's his brother, but because they drive together and he drives exactly like his brother,
Right.
he immediately figures it
Yeah,
out.
Keep it oblivious. Keep it, hey, I'm not even considering who you actually are because you're this clandestine guy. But at the very end, then have him reveal, hey, you won the thing, buddy. I'm your brother. Mask off and let's just have a party.
Okay, let me ask you this question. It isn't until the two of them drive together
Yes.
that he pieces it out that it's his brother.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew who he was. He saw him on TV. This guy is a racer, right?
He is.
So he could watch him in races for God knows how many years, and he never looked at him and thought, his style is similar to that of someone else I know.
But you don't know it until you race with him, Betsy.
I just think that seems very convenient that it
It's
wasn't until they were
silly.
driving side by side in tandem, moving as one,
Yeah.
that's when he figures
Being on
it
the
out.
radio together and pressing all the buttons in their cars.
That's right.
Which I will say.
So many buttons.
I will say, when I was a kid watching the show, I was kind of bored with the majority of what I was looking at, except for when they're racing and Speed Racer gets to hit the buttons in the cars. That was the thing that really got me when I was a kid. All the different powers and extra gadgets in the car.
I was going to say, does he have a lot of the same
Absolutely.
gadgets?
Especially the every time one of the cars hits the jump button or whatever, like when they bounce.
The little platforms that shoot him into the air.
Yes, the sound effect that happens here in the movie is the same
Oh, there goes
sound
Trent,
effect
sound effect guy.
from the show. Which, hey, that's the homage.
It's not
That's
a
okay.
Star Wars sound, don't worry.
No, they're all Speed Racers, so it's okay. I'm not gonna go Karen on this one.
No. It's a weird style of racing, not gonna lie. They're
It's like fucking Death
They're
Race.
jumping in the air, they're doing flips, they're hitting cars with other cars to knock them out of the way. They're
They're
sideways,
spinning like
they're
crazy.
backwards. They have giant twists and drops and obstacles. There's spikes. Who the hell designed these courses?
It's the future? I don't know. It's like this weird, different, like futuristic version of the 60s.
It's like
Because-
the Jetsons. It's like
Yeah.
1960s, but the future.
And you know what? Before we even sat down here, we were kind of thinking about, we were listening to the theme song for the original thing. And the Jetsons and Speed Racer, their themes are very similar.
Yep. Go Speed Racer. Go Speed Racer.
Go, Speed Racer, go. Yeah. Yeah, they're very similar in the instrumentation and everything else. But the feeling of what I'm looking at here is a futuristic version of the 1960s.
Right.
Because, like, there's no extra, like, technology that we would have in modern times. Like, the televisions are all older. None of, we don't really see any other cars. It's all futuristic cars, except they're actually, when they go to the city, they're flying in a goddamn, like, air car. I don't know what you call
At
it.
a low level because they have special permission.
Special permit. They only give out 6 of these every year. What?
Whatever.
Fuck.
Whatever. Yeah, you're right. I particularly like how Speed Racer just drives around in the Mach 5 all the time. That's
Sure.
just his everyday car.
Sure.
He makes out with his girlfriend in it.
That's right. I would make out with my girlfriend in that car. Come on.
Fair enough. Do you think anybody drives a Mach 5? I've never seen one of those at a car show.
No, I don't think, I know they exist. I'm sure they exist. But I don't think that is something that is a common occurrence. Like, we have fucking Batmobiles in this city.
Right.
Being driven around.
Like, around here, I've seen,
Yeah.
like, the Mystery Machine.
Yep.
Someone has a Batmobile. There's also somebody who has, like, the car from Dukes of Hazzard, the General Lee.
Yeah.
Like, those are cars that I see a lot. But
The
this
iconic ones.
seems like one you would see.
No, because this car is a lot more impractical in its shape and like the very sharp corners and everything else. I don't know how you can make a car like that street legal.
Okay, I suppose that, like, I'm not saying you're gonna drive it around all the time, but
No.
for show cars, there's a lot of different rules.
Yeah,
and loopholes.
you could just make the shell and put it on top of a different car, sure. But like to make a functional Mach 5 that would fit the specifications and have an engine small enough to do that, I don't know.
Also, you couldn't do it to spec because there's a lot of like bulletproof
No,
glass
the fucking
and the
dome
tires.
over the top.
The tires refill themselves.
Yes.
You know, there's like what is it, on the side, he has something to block.
Yeah, it's like a shield.
A shield, and he can drive it with a joystick,
Yeah,
and
they're
it's like they're
dueling.
sword fighting.
It's like they're dueling with their hubcaps.
It's completely stupid, and I loved
It's
it.
cartoonish.
Yes. So in those moments, this movie meets the brief. It is exactly what it should be. It is cartoonish and over the top and
Yes.
silly.
Yes.
But then in the middle, you have this complex storyline of there's the villain and he is a corporation and he's going to take you down. And then there's a massive race to qualify for the Grand Prix because they didn't make the cut.
Right.
But it's a wild card race. And they are given an open invitation. If you win, you just get a piece of paper that says, you can race anytime. Come on in.
Yeah, again, they didn't spend a lot of time on that, and I just feel like they just needed to get to the next thing and find some kind of convoluted way
device
of being able to get into the Grand Prix. But my question about that is, what is winning the Grand Prix going to do, except bring the stock price of Royalton down? Because at the end of the race, Mr. Inspector Detector says that they're going to go and arrest the guy. Why? Except for the fact that you are cheating in the race? Just disqualify them. Why are you arresting them?
I don't know what grounds they have to arrest him. You're right, because it's literally just, well, he cheated. The team is definitely eliminated.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can arrest the man for that.
Right. I just don't know what the trigger is to have that happen.
Yeah, for him to win the Grand Prix, it's to prove, all the haters wrong. Like, I can win this
Sure.
race, and it's not rigged. And even if it is rigged, it doesn't matter because I'm the greatest racer of all time.
Sure.
And the electricity in the room overwhelms everybody. And it changes the world? Question mark?
I mean, it does. But again, I don't see how that is going to hold up in court.
Again, I don't think we need to read that much into it because
No.
the point is they're bringing down the corporations.
Yeah, the point is the bad guy gets busted and is behind bars.
It's all about, the independent little guy winning the day. It's about the fall of capitalism. It's a large, complex conversation. I don't know, Trent. I'm stretching here. That's what it feels like if you really want to grandize the whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, let's just go over some of the stuff that we haven't mentioned yet. Starting with the rest of the cast here, because we've mentioned all of the main players. There's some other people that we haven't really mentioned, namely Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, she's his mom. I had no idea she was in this.
I completely forgot. I knew that at some point, but I completely forgot.
And she's just kind of there.
She's just the mom.
Yeah.
She's just a mom.
She's a housewife making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Except for the fact that at the end, when they're building the car, she's down there welding.
Literally everyone in this group knows how to weld.
Right.
And drive.
And drive, yeah.
When they need to.
Because also, we mentioned Christina Ricci as Trixie. I forgot the name of Trixie, but I knew she was in this movie. And I know these two characters are supposed to be around like 19, 20 years old. I know Christina Ricci was a lot older than that.
She was 28 when she made this.
Okay.
So not 19, certainly.
Definitely not. But, she can put on the short-haired wig and get done up like a younger woman.
Unless, of course, Trent, it's the thing we mentioned before where he's actually like 27 and his brother is 45.
Right.
And John Goodman is 93 years old.
You know what? And even talking about John Goodman, he kind of had his Fred Flintstone look going on.
He looked like Mario.
Well, and that's how the character looks in the show. He had the red and the blue.
Yep.
That's how he looked in
And
the
he
show.
has a mustache.
And he had a mustache, yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, John Goodman is his best John Goodman self, and he almost had me tearing up there when they had their little father-son talk right before Speed leaves. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
kinda
great
like
in
that.
this.
Yeah.
He's great in this. Christina Ricci is doing her job. She has the single best line in this whole movie.
She really does.
Oh my God, are those ninjas?
Oh my God, is that a ninja? Yeah, after they get attacked by ninjas.
Secret ninja
Because
attack.
you know ninjas.
Why? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Because kids know what ninjas are.
Yeah, there's all kinds of nonsense in this movie. There's a chimpanzee in their family, and
Yes.
everyone's just totally fine with that.
Yeah, it's Chim Chim the chimpanzee.
Who wears boy-faced pajamas.
Right, and you didn't even get
I
this.
didn't catch
At the
it.
beginning of the movie, the boy and Chim Chim are on the couch watching something.
Some Japanese TV show.
Yeah, some
cartoon.
weird anime. And I probably made for this movie, by the way.
Probably.
And the kid is wearing the quintessential monkey print pajamas. It's the monkey print that you see in like Aeropostale, like decades and decades ago. And the chimp is wearing pajamas of a boy.
A cartoon boy.
A cartoon boy on
Yep.
his pajamas. You didn't even get that.
I completely missed it.
Yeah, it was funny.
So that's just like a normal day for them. They've got a chimp. They've got a guy called Sparky who helps them out, and
Yeah.
he's always around.
He's the mechanic. He is the pit man. I guess is what you would call him.
Yeah, the precocious younger brother is always riding around in the trunk.
Yeah.
In the races? Like, that kid was in
Right.
the trunk the whole time?
And that is actually directly from the show. Like the kid and the chimp are just the comic relief of the show.
They eat candy and get into trouble.
Yes, exactly. Candy was a huge part of that. But the overall vibe of the rest of the characters are pretty damn serious. But the comic relief comes from those two, which is what happened here.
And for a kid, again, Spritle, what the fuck kind of a name is that? Where are you? What baby book are these names coming out of? So he's pretty good. Like, this kid, he's doing exactly the kind of precocious kid
Yes.
thing you're supposed to be doing.
And I get that. I'm not going to fault the kid or the idea of putting them in there because that's directly from the show. That part of the movie isn't for me.
No, this is why I'm saying this is fully, if they had leaned harder into, let's shave half an hour at least off of this movie, it would easily be just a really fantastic kids movie.
Well, to shave off like a half hour, you would probably get rid of all of the extra scenes with the kid and the chimp.
Or keep those and then just cut some of the extra plot. Like, the entire middle race,
Yeah.
the only significance is that's where his brother supposedly died.
Right,
And so
and-
they tie it in somehow, but then it's all kind of for nothing because it's all for show to get the stock prices up.
Right, and like the one thing that I did not understand one bit was in the middle of that long race where they're up in the mountains and they stop to have a fight.
Yeah, that's what
What the hell was that about?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they have that bad guy. How is he involved? He's like a gangster.
Right, who is employed by by the bad company?
Yeah, there's too many parties involved,
Yeah.
which is why it's like, it's not a kid's movie, but it is a kid's movie. This is too complex for me to follow,
Right.
let alone a child. Kids understand that's a bad guy. They can follow that.
Yeah.
But when it's like, here's one, and here's one, and here's one, and this is the reason they're all in cahoots.
Yeah, and I understand why you would want to have a fight like that because I'm sure that the Wachowskis just wanted to have this stylized fight where they could add on a bunch of like fucking speed lines on people's characters
Sure.
and like
Hadouken!
the biff pow.
Yeah, the flying
stuff like
through the
that.
air cartoon lines.
That stuff. I'm sure they just really wanted to have a fight like that, and that's the only place they could have had it. So I don't know.
Maybe they would have been better off not making this into a movie, but just doing their own take on a limited TV show. Because this is the problem. How long was Speed Racer on the air? Years?
Yeah.
And you're trying to make it into a movie, so you're trying to do a lot of things in a short amount of time.
But that's the thing about a kid's TV show. There's not like an overarching plot. There's not a continuous story from episode to episode. It's just one little tiny vignette.
Right, but you could have picked one and made it this movie without making it so complicated.
Maybe a better solution would be to not have it be live action.
Maybe.
Make an anime.
Well, I did, honestly, stylistically, I kind of liked how they did this balance of there's live action things, there's real cars at different points, there's real sets at different points, but then it's just they're kind of driving around a cartoon world.
Yeah, and most of this is like this entire, like I would say 80% of this movie is blue screen.
Yeah.
Where they, even like the sets, the house that they live in, that's all blue screen.
All the background stuff.
It's weird.
They did it in like 60 days, mostly on blue screen.
Yeah.
And that's how they got this movie together. I didn't hate it. There's parts of it where they almost go so far it's overwhelming. The first sequence, when the movie just starts and it's the race, but they're intermingling two races at the same time.
Right.
There's so many editing cuts and they're trying to make it fast and these tracks are really bright and crazy and spinning it up and down.
Yeah.
I was literally like, you should have a seizure warning on this movie.
Definitely.
It was almost making me sick watching this.
Yeah, like the frantic cutting back and forth of like during the race. Also, I barely really understood what was happening when Speed Racer is racing in that first race, but then also his brother is there as well as a ghost.
Yeah, there's some interesting editing choices in this movie, and sometimes it really works and sometimes it really doesn't. So that first one is when we are introduced to him as a kid, and we find out what happened to his brother, but it is cut with a race he is in right now.
Right, we got present day, we got the past, all kind of interspliced together.
And it's a great way to give you a lot of information in a short amount of time, but because they're cutting back and forth so much, and then it's kind of getting frantically more fast.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
kind of too much.
And this track, his brother set the record. So he's basically fighting the metaphorical ghost. He's racing him. And he could take the record, but he decides at the last second not to take it. And he comes in just a split second too short.
Yeah. And
he would have beat his record, but he can like see the Mach 4 with his brother driving it next to him.
And I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but... And I know the Wachowskis are way into video games, but when you are playing a racing sim of any kind, or even just a racing game, when you are doing like a time trial and you're just doing a lap, let's say, you can race against yourself, and that self is called a ghost.
Okay.
So when you're doing a ghost race, you are going against yourself and like seeing yourself as you're taking the turns and maybe trying to improve on, okay, I hit the track a little bit bad here, so I'm going to adjust it here.
They are known to enjoy a video game on occasion, so it is possible.
Maybe, I don't know.
At least stylistically, I could see that being
the way
a
it's
thing.
portrayed here is 100% like a video game.
Yes.
Where it is just this ethereal other car that doesn't have any kind of physical form, but it's still visible.
But yeah, that whole opening sequence, it's kind of a lot to take in. I think the rest of the races weren't as intense for me, but because there's so many layers and like dual focus and camera tricks that they're doing because of all the blue screen work.
Just so frantic.
It's a lot. I liked the one in the middle where he is at the corporation turning the guy down and he says, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen when you walk out of here if you don't sign this contract.
Yeah.
And he's explaining it and they're showing it happen in real time.
Right.
So it's not getting a setup and then you have to watch it unfold. You're also not just skipping something, it's happening simultaneously.
Yeah, and it's a good directing trope of, hey, I'm going to explain what's going to happen and just have it happen.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for it to happen. It's just happening now.
And it's not imagined. It is what he said would happen is playing out.
Yes.
And you don't have to wait for it. Here it is. And then we're just going to move past it and you are in the repercussions of that.
Yeah, it's a way to make a movie not be 3 hours long.
Right, which I think based on the runtime of this, I guarantee there's a lot of footage that could have made it at least 3 hours long.
Probably.
The other thing is at the very, very end where Speed Racer gets to the Grand Prix and he gets in the race because they have to let him.
Yep.
And the bad guy is saying, okay, $1 million to whoever takes him out. And it's all these faces like close to the front, and it's just edited over face, over face, over
right.
face, over face, over
just
face.
all of the different like camera tricks and like the way they cut from scene to scene, and the wipes of the people.
So many wipes.
So many wipes of like people's heads and faces and bodies. It happens throughout the entire movie.
There are some editing choices in this movie. And
I like that, though.
Some of them work really, really well, and some of them it's really like, that's just a choice we
that
made.
one right there where you're talking about where there's like, I don't know, a dozen different wipes of people's faces going back and forth. That's just silly. I like that.
It is. It's very cartoonish, but again, that's what we're going
And
for.
I do not remember, for the life of me, I was trying to remember if they ever did that in the show. I do not remember. They probably did, because otherwise in this movie they wouldn't have done it.
Or they wouldn't have done it as much.
I guess.
So since we're on that last scene, I will say the finale race is really exciting.
Yeah.
Like if I could say
That was the best one.
One really positive thing about this movie is it ends strong.
Yeah.
When he is about to be taken out of the race, his car has been flipped, it won't start, and he's trying to get it to start. He jumps it into the gear it needs to be, and he just flies through the course. And the music builds, and the whole crowd is screaming, and everyone is excited, and you can't help but go for it. And then they have the drop in the race where the course just dramatically falls down like 100 feet below them. It's like going off of a cliff.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. Yeah.
The first time that happened, I literally went, like it's very sudden and dramatic. And then the second time he does it to win the race, he's just flying 3 feet above the track and then coming down over all of the other cars. And there's lights and speed, and it's just colorful and energetic, and it's really exciting.
When you talk about racing movies and racing things in general, you have to have a really good sense of speed.
Yes.
And this movie has it.
And they use the effects of the speed sparingly, like that cartoon thing where there's lines behind him. They don't do it any other point in the movie.
But at this point, they're doing it a lot. Like
Yes.
when he's driving on the side and there's all these like monitors or screens where there's like electricity coming off of it,
Yep.
all the blue stuff coming off. And when he restarts the car, there's this red line trailing behind him.
It looks
all these
so
fucking
cool.
tracers everywhere. It just gives it that extra pop.
And then when he hits the red checkered finish and the entire screen is
Yeah.
enveloped with that effect.
Like he's going through a fucking tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say if you are only going to watch one scene from this movie, that would be the one to see.
Yeah. And what I would say, just to kind of sum up everything, I enjoyed the movie, it's fine, but if somebody who has no interest in the cartoon or anime or anything else, just the style of this movie really shines through. If the overall plot and the story and everything else just doesn't click for you, it didn't really click for me, except, fuck corporations and everything else. If that doesn't click for you, just watch it. Just watch it and look at it. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, this is a pun intended good vehicle for the special effects.
All right, we're going to end the show here. And hey, by the way, this is the first time we're doing a racing movie, by the way.
We've never done a racing movie. We've just done
There
car
are
movies.
plenty of them. Yeah, we've never done a racing movie other than, all the Fast and Furious movies, which that's not really racing.
Race Wars!
No, that's not racing.
Shut up, there are races in there.
There are.
They're just convoluted
Drag
reasons.
races.
They're convoluted reasons to get them in a car.
It's true. All right. That is actually going to be the end of this one. We would like to hear from you if you want to talk about the Wachowskis, Speed Racer, the cartoon or the movie, or any of the other Wachowski movies. We've seen most of them.
They don't have that many.
We haven't seen their first one, Bound. We haven't seen Jupiter Ascending, which I understand is kind of bad.
Oh, but someday, Trent, we may
Maybe.
end up seeing it.
Maybe when we do some kind of weird sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
But V for Vendetta, #1 with a fucking bullet. We watch it every single year on the proper day. And of course, all the Matrix trilogy.
Trilogy, there's 4 now, Trent.
Fuck that.
Sorry, my
Fuck
friend.
that. I think Cloud Atlas is also them, but I don't really know anything about it.
I understand it's not good.
It's another one that was mixed, maybe.
They're very, very hit and miss because they do very high concept sometimes.
Right.
And that's hard for the average person to get on board with. The Matrix was a spectacle.
Yeah.
Yes, it's complicated, but they have just gotten more complicated with their storytelling.
Well, speaking of, like, directors who are coming off of a very, very popular trilogy, like that fucking Peter Jackson movie with the Walking City. Remember
oh God.
that?
The, Mortal Engines, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. And that just completely bombed too.
Yeah.
But whatever. All these directors can do whatever the hell they want. They're millionaires. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Anyway, email us, neverseenitpod@gmail.com. That was a long...
Nice transition.
That was a long lead up to this thing, but we do have an email to read about a movie that we just covered. This one comes in from Mitch from Saskatoon about Paddington 2.
One that is truly for the children.
Definitely.
And us, because we had a great time.
Yes. From Mitch saying, hello guys, thank you for watching this movie. I mentioned it after the first Paddington that we liked it so much that we watched this movie the very next day. It is the perfect palate cleanser for anything, and it will just get you in the happiest mood no matter what. Hell yeah. We mentioned Paddington 2, I think both movies, we just were smiling the entire time.
It's really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I recommend those.
Yeah, it'll make you happy. He says, I liked everything about this movie. It is charming, funny, and the British humor is the best. One of my favorite things about your episode is that you seem to enjoy the movie so much that you actually didn't talk a lot about the movie.
Those are our favorites.
Sometimes those are the times where we have the most fun making these episodes, when we don't even really talk about the movie. It's just everything around it. I think we did that with our last episode, 8th grade. We just talked about our childhoods.
Yeah, some movies...
It's fun.
It's not worth us telling you about the movie. Go watch the movie. If you're
Sure.
listening to this, then we assume you've seen it.
Right, like there's not a lot to analyze over a movie like that. It's a coming-of-age story. Everybody's been through that, but you see a movie like that through the prism of your own life. So
Exactly.
That's how I see those. Anyway, he says there were so many parts that you missed talking about, enough for your listeners to really watch that movie for the, quote, first time. I cannot wait for Paddington 3. Summer salutations from Mitch up in Saskatoon.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch. I really appreciate every time you email us because you're so damn positive. If you would like to be like Mitch, you don't have to be positive. You can just say, hey, I hate Paddington 2, and this is why. We'll read it.
We're open to your counter arguments.
All opinions are valid on this show, except for if you're going to write us in and talk about like defending Nazis in Indiana Jones.
No. You will not get your email read.
No, we will fucking report your ass. Anyway, email us neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We're currently asking for you to go onto Spotify if you aren't already listening over there. Switch your podcast app of choice over to Spotify and listen to us over there. And if you can't do that, just go on there, subscribe, and play an episode or two just so that we can build our numbers up over there. You can also support the show in other ways. You can share us with your friends. You can follow the link in every single episode description to go to the Spotify page and pay us $1 on there if you want to support the show that way. But otherwise, you can just follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are where we are right now. Maybe new ones coming down the pike. I don't have a clue because we don't have a lot of time right now. Which, by the way, we're about to go on vacation here at the end of July.
Yeah,
so
we're recording in advance.
We're recording in advance as much as we can because, yeah, vacation. We got to get away sometimes. So anyway, that is going to be the end of the show for now. My name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
And we'll be back to you with another episode of Never Seen It.
Bye.